So if you watched our tour of the studio, I pointed out a couple cabinets and I said that's where I keep all of my fabric and knickknacks, and that I was going to show you what's behind the magic doors. So this is the cabinet that when you watch the video we first start with is on the right. So now I've got it to the camera set up so you can actually see the cabinet. So what I keep in here, and again this is an IKEA bookshelf that came with drawer units that you could add. I'm sorry, drawer units you could add and door units that you could add. So what I did was I was able to put this in the studio. It looks nice and clean because actually the front door is right there. So when people walk in the house, this is the first thing they see. And I didn't want them to see a bunch of clutter because not everybody loves creating like I do, and they don't want to see my stuff. So, and it's a full studio with 3 other people living here. So that being said, this is the cabinet that I store a lot of my little things in. It is also the cabinet that I store all of my pre-cut jelly rolls, fat quarter bundles, layer cakes. This is a bundle I got from Alaska last year. So lots of things in here. These are the leftovers from the owl project we just did a sew along with. It's on YouTube, you can check out the Crossroads one. So this little cabinet here has fat quarter bundles. There's all the fairy frost from Michael Miller. And then next door, same thing, more fat quarter bundles, more layer cakes. This is a Mickey Mouse layer cake that a very dear friend of mine bought me to make a quilt with, and I haven't made the quilt yet. Sorry, Billy. So we'll tuck that in here. But then I have an old cosmetic bag in here. Ooh, what's in the cosmetic bag? So in here is where I keep, it's actually quite heavy, all of my charm packs, because I love collecting charm packs. And I'm sure someone out there is going, I have 1,000 more charm packs than that. So you just have more than one makeup container holding them. But this works great. I've got little ones in here. When I need a charm pack, I can just come over here and go through them, and they're organized and easy to see. And this was just a, you know, an unused makeup case. There are all kinds of containers you can buy. So there's that. And again, I have more fat quarter bundles in here. I get a lot of fat quarter bundles when I go to Quilt Market. These are for samples or for videos. And it's a pretty deep cabinet, and it works perfect for fat quarter bundles. So I have just 2 cabinets, 2 of fat quarter bundles. There have been times where all 4 or 5, the whole thing has been fat quarters, but we go through them. Then in here what I have is I have Mod Podge and acrylic medium and all kinds of things that you would use to stiffen fabric. I had done a couple videos on paper fabric origami, and I went through a phase where I bought a ton of different stiffeners for fabric. They're all stacked in here. So this is all of that kind of stuff. Then over here, these are all adhesives and glues. So we've got spray mount and, you know, spray stuff for batting. But if I need to stick one thing to something else, whether it's paper, leather, fabric, cork, I go in this little cabinet. It has all of my glues and adhesives. And then in here I have smaller containers. This one has a bunch of super glue in it. One back here has glue sticks and rubber cement. Then I have a container that's full of my glue gun with all my glue sticks. But I know this cabinet is my adhesive cabinet. I know, I'm a little nutty about organizing. Next, we've got a drawer just full of tapes. This whole drawer is tapes. How's that for a fun duct tape? So if I need to stick something with tape, I can go into this drawer and grab it. Then we have the next one. These are all, this whole drawer is bag fasteners and hardware for bags. So in here are all of my like feet for a bag or D-rings for a bag. So if I'm making anything and I need a fastener, I know to go to this drawer. So I organize things in themes. Where will I find it? I have covered buttons in here. I have purse handles and hinges for bags. And then inside the drawer, things are organized into boxes and containers so that I can keep track of it. This is all just magnetic snaps for bags. This whole little box, which was from the Bouchon Bakery in Napa. Good chocolate. And a cool box. I don't know if you know this or not, my background is in industrial design. I love boxes and dimensional things because I like to design three-dimensionally, and yet I'm in a two-dimensional field. So I got those. Below that, this is all my garment making stuff. I have a ham. Anyone ever, if you're not familiar with garment making, this was on like a list of things you buy when you first start garment making. I'm like, I need to buy a ham. This is a really great thing to have if you do garments. So I have all kinds of stuff in there for garment making. The bottom one is all of my weird notions. My add a quarter ruler, styluses, chalk pencils, bias tape makers, things that I use but I don't use all the time. And again, they're in containers in the drawer so I can pull them out as I need them. On this side we have rulers, every kind of ruler and template you need. As an industrial designer, I did a lot of drafting. I'm married to an architect. He did a lot of drafting. So when we got married, we had a lot of rulers. They're all in this drawer. These are drafting rulers, not to be mixed up with our quilting rulers. Though sometimes I use a drafting ruler for a quilting ruler. Here, this whole drawer, pins, every kind of pin you could possibly want. I've got silk pins, I've got applique pins, I've got needles in here, I've got magnetic tape. Why is the magnetic tape with the pins? Because I take things like this Altoid container and I put the magnetic tape in it and it becomes a magnetized pin cushion. So that's why magnetic tape is in the pin drawer. So those are all pins. This is my English paper piecing drawer. I just started doing English paper piecing last year, and I'm very quickly growing out of just one drawer because I've got lots of things in here. All of my English paper piecing templates are in here. My little kits are in here. So that's slowly will become something else. And then in the bottom drawer is all my serger stuff. I have my book, my serger threads, my tools for my serger, they're all in there. So that is what's in the magic cabinet as we come into the studio. I hope you've enjoyed this little quick tour of my cabinet and see how I store things for the studio. Next up, I'm going to cover how we store fabric and the best way to store fabric. So make sure you check back for that video. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, make sure you like and subscribe below. You can find the Whimsical Workshop on our website, thewhimsicalworkshop.com, and that has all links to all of our other social media platforms. Thanks for joining us.